Hello and welcome to another episode of The Lunch Line. I am Ben, that is Mike. Glad to have you with us for yet another episode. Hope you enjoyed, what was that, a couple weeks back we did. When we told you the schedule was going to be a little sporadic for now. But it was a fun one. Honestly, if you did not listen to that one, I would go back and re-listen because, I feel like by the end of that episode, I felt like we were drunk without drinking. Like I was definitely oh man, this is it was a good time, and so definitely go back and listen to that. And we'll be putting out content sporadically here. Over the next month or so, and then we'll be able to settle back into do a once a week scenario, either Sundays or Mondays or whatever it ends up being. But regardless, we are here, and you can of course follow the show at I believe it's the Lunchline Pod on Twitter. I forget because I changed the handle when we went away from. It's at the Lunchline Pod, yes, on Twitter, and at Surround16 as well as TikTok. What is the TikTok handle again?
Trying to. Gosh, man, everything
we weren't
sucks.
ready. We weren't ready.
It's liking videos now, and
Oh no.
I don't want to like this guy's video. What the hell? Now I got Shia LaBeouf on my thing.
Shia LaBeouf.
Why is this not let me unlike this thing?
I didn't even know you could unlike a TikTok.
Lunchline podcast.
Lunchline podcast on the talk. That is where you can find us, clips and such. And yeah, we do a lot of fun stuff. So got a packed episode here today. We got a lot to talk about in the since we've haven't done a show in a couple of weeks. We haven't had a chance to chat about the Tom Brady roast and some other Netflix related things. But before we get all into that good stuff, Mike, I want you to rank. So I sent you a picture of some snacks that I'm going to be bringing to the hospital. I'm going to the hospital on Tuesday for the birth of my son, and of course, so now since I've already gone through this once, I'm prepared now this time around. I kind of know what I'm working with here as far as I'll be there for 3 or 4 days, so I need to have snacks. Their food, I will say, the stereotype is like hospital food sucks. Last time I went, it was pretty damn good. So I was impressed, but still have to bring the snack. So I've got, I have to let the people know what the options are, and then I'll have you rank them. So I've got the Lance Toast Cheese Peanut Butter Crackers. I've got the Combos Pizzeria, so the pizza flavored combos. I've got the Snyder's of Hanover Nashville Hot pretzel pieces, which I believe we tried on the show for the first time.
Not the Nashville hot ones. We did. I think it was.
We did Buffalo. We did Buffalo.
Yeah,
you're right.
A lot of dust.
I got Reese's Thins because I'm watching my figure, and I've got the Oreo Space Dunks, which is the pop candy Oreo limited edition ones that Mike's had for 3 months waiting to try on the show. So of those five, give me your rankings 5 to 1.
So to specify right now, when I was in middle school, I actually volunteered at the hospital, the Loudon Nova one.
Oh, okay.
For I think it was 3 years in a row. And
those poor patients.
Yeah. Let's be honest here.
Mike comes walking in your room. Do you need anything? The guy's like, kill me.
Well, the worst part was every year they had to give you a TB test. Now, I'm going to go with these rankings first, but let's get back to that. Let's revisit the hospital.
Sure. Let's go back to the tuberculosis test.
Yeah. So, my number one on here.
Well, wait. Go 5 to 1.
Okay, 5 to 1.
You don't just drop the load of number one immediately. Come on. What are we doing here?
Sorry. Anyways, the worst one on here would probably have to be the pizza combos because I love combos, but the pizza ones.
I haven't had these, I don't think. Or maybe if I have, it's been a long time. So
they're not great, but I'm always the cheddar cheese type guy. I like the cheese combo originals, the OGs.
Sure.
So that would be my least favorite. My fourth on this list would be the Nashville Hot because again, when we tried them the one time, it was buffalo.
Yeah.
A lot of dust, kind of messy.
It was messy. This might be like babies being born, and I've got the Nashville hot dust on my fingers. The baby's screaming because it's just spice on them. Yeah, that one might be tabled until post birth. I think.
Yeah. So then the other one would be no, number three would have to be the space dunks because
Okay, I have
again,
not ate those yet.
yes, because we were gonna rank them, but then it took forever with this damn computer situation. So then I ended up saying screw it, I just ate them, and they're okay. They're okay, honestly. When you look at the space dunks, like the pop candy thing is cool. It's a cool feature, but it's a gimmick that's gonna go away pretty quickly.
Sure.
The cookie looks cool. Don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't really taste that great. And then number two on my list would be the Reese Thins because
Wow. Okay.
I like the Reese Thins. Don't get me wrong. I haven't
Yeah.
had one in forever, but I've had a regular one for a while, which
Sure.
also brings up another story. It's like 2 seconds long, but I'll tell you that in a little bit. But my number one would be the peanut butter crackers.
Wow.
I love those
I did
things,
not
man.
think. I mean, I love those too, but I did not expect you to respect that pick as much as you did of the toast cheese. There's something about those little, yeah, the cheese, like the cheesy cracker with the peanut butter in the middle. I mean, there's some magic there.
The original circle ones with peanut butter. No, those
Well,
are
yeah,
pretty
those
good.
those are
But
classic.
my favorite are the cheese with cheese inside of them.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
ones. Now it's probably obviously not real cheese, but
Like these were a great. I mean,
ooh,
this was definitely a lunchtime at school type thing. Like you had to.
yeah,
I definitely
yeah,
had these in my
oh yeah.
lunch bag when I would bring lunch to school. That was always a solid move to have these because they're damn good, and I've got a 10 pack there, so those will likely all be gone.
Oh yeah.
And but yeah, I'm and then Abby has already said so. Her first meal will be as it was for Lucy is I'll be running out to the Golden Arches and getting some McDonald's first meal
Nice.
post birth. So
Nice.
looking forward to that. Looking forward to just me getting just fatter and fatter and fatter.
Dude, but
'Cause
I'm
that's
telling
what's
you though,
happening.
those crackers though are I mean, you can just house those crackers so
Yeah.
quickly. Now I always do the double cracker. I always
Oh
go
yeah.
with two crackers at once because I don't who does one. I mean, let's be
No.
honest here. What am I, an alien?
Yeah.
I'm a normal human being that is a little overweight and likes crackers. So
Little. Okay. Yeah.
so
Got it.
so what was that bad?
No, you said little overweight. I don't know.
I didn't know that was the part that you were
Yeah.
fixated on. But no, I'm telling you, the cheese on cheese ones are the best. I have to put it that way.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say. All I'm gonna say.
Okay. Okay. So tell me what were you talking about? Tuberculosis?
Oh, hold on. So the first thing was I have a kid that's in first grade
Yeah.
that is one of my students and whatnot. And last week was Teacher Appreciation Week. Now, granted,
Nice.
I have to sit there and say that a little on the downside of this year for Teacher Appreciation Week, which, by the way, I don't even know when those are. Like, I just know like the week of.
I
Like,
feel like they never are the same week every year. It's always
yeah,
just like a random like, all right, now we're appreciating the teachers this week, and it's like, all right,
yeah,
well, didn't
it's
we do
very
this
weird.
3 months ago? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even get it. So I got some gift cards stuff like that, which is nice. I got
Okay.
like $50 on Amazon gift cards and whatever, which is
Hey,
good.
those are fine. That's a
Yeah,
good solid gift.
it's not bad. But then this one kid, he's a great kid and everything like that. He brought me an 8 pack of just full size Snickers bars, and he
Wow.
was so excited to give it to me because I was like, "Thanks." I didn't say anything about Snickers, but I'll take them.
Yeah,
So
you
now
didn't realize Snickers are horrible.
I mean, now all of a sudden he just I'm just eating them in front of him.
Yeah, you kind of have to at that point because, like, yeah, I mean, that was clearly like he was all excited. Mom, Dad, I gotta get Mister Cerrone some Snickers.
Snickers.
And they're like, really? That's what he likes? He doesn't want Reese's or Hershey, like a good candy? He's like, no,
Right.
he wants Snickers.
Yeah,
And
he
so,
wants this one, the full
yeah,
king size one.
yeah.
So, anyways, that was just a quick tidbit. So, again, I'll reiterate this. Back when I was in middle school, I ended up hospitaling. Excuse me, not hospitaling. Whoops,
Wild
wrong,
word that you
wrong.
created there.
I don't even know if that's a word. I worked at the hospital
Okay.
as a volunteer.
Work is probably a loose term. But
Yeah.
yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
here's the thing. So this is how this whole entire operation was ran. So at first you have to get a TB test, and that always sucks because
Right.
when you do a TB test, they like prick you or something like that, and it's like it kind of like feels weird, like
Okay.
a bee sting, and you're just like it doesn't feel great.
Right.
So once they make sure that you're, not a zombie,
Yeah.
then they place you in a department. So my 3 years, I had three different departments. The first department I was in was some like office that was like in the innards of the hospital that was like this tiny little room that was like a size of like a normal size bedroom. And it was like two computers in there. And this one lady, I think she just wanted me to get out of her hair because at first, the first week, because it was 3 hours every Wednesday in the summer. So it was every Wednesday in the summer, 3 hours from 9 to 12. So at first, I worked there, and she was like kind of nice and all that stuff, not bad to look at either. And basically, not that doesn't mean anything.
Sure. Okay.
I was in high school.
She's probably like 50 now, but yeah. Okay.
But anyways, she basically told me to start faxing stuff.
Oh,
And
wow. Big responsibility.
and filing things. First of all, never used a fax machine in my life.
Yeah.
I had to get a quick rundown for that. But then she wanted me to file stuff. So the first like 2 weeks was the most boring time ever. I was literally faxing things
Saving
and
lives.
filing papers.
Yeah.
But then after that, I had to like type things, like retype things. It was weird. It was really big jobs here. So,
yeah.
anyways,
One wrong key and you're suddenly telling
yeah,
you're telling a guy's family he's dead. Wrong word.
It was a problem.
Yeah.
So, anyways, so that one was kind of boring or whatever. Next year, I got to do the inventory, which was I was in this huge room that had it was just rows and rows of shelves. It's probably 20 rows on either side of shelving with like meds and face masks and like whatever medical stuff there is. And those guys were
that seems pretty important for you to be.
Yeah, I know. I was like a 10th grader.
Yeah.
So not a 10th grader. I might have Jesus Christ. I might have been like 7th grade, 8th grade, something like that. So all of a sudden, that room was cool because the two guys that worked there, they were chill, whatever. And obviously I had to unload pallets and stuff like that. So that was fun. And we played music and we hung out. But then the last one, I was in like the outpatient area where I was changing beds all the time and wheeling people outside. Like, dude, it was weird.
The whole thing where like they like won't let you walk out of the hospital. They always have to like wheel you out, no matter like what has happened to you. Yeah.
Right. I had a few instances with people there that are like, I don't need to get wheeled out. I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you're the 6th grader. That's like it's already tough enough for you to push the wheelchair with like a grown man in there, and then he's screaming at you like, I want to walk. I want to walk, son.
Oh, it was pretty bad. So, anyways, the whole entire part of the story was the hospital food. So I went through that whole entire thing just to get to the hospital food.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's the reason why I'm talking about the hospital food because obviously it was 9 to 12 in the morning.
Right. Okay.
If I got there early enough, because my sisters did the same thing too. If we got there early enough, we'd go to the cafeteria, and it was awesome because again, everyone likes to sit there and say hospital food sucks, like you said,
right?
And hospital food is it's bland, it's all microwaved and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, first of all, when you're in a hospital, I'm not sitting there waiting for Gordon Ramsay with a hairnet.
Well,
on.
right, you already have low expectations.
Give me a fillet,
right.
I want some eggs that were probably made out of powder. I don't care.
Sure.
Okay? I want a couple pancakes, maybe, and then throw me a couple links or a couple patties.
Yeah.
I'm a patty guy, but at the same time, like throw me a couple of little cheap things. Okay,
right.
It costs like $3.75. I don't know about today's, but then it costs like $3.75 to get like one small plate. It was awesome.
So here's a plate of some. So this is I got some chicken. There were some mashed potatoes, a little like a red velvet cupcake thing, and then a little bread roll with butter on it. I mean,
butter.
like. It was a solid meal. Like I literally like no complaints on my end.
Right.
That was like I'd say that's a good solid example. And like the chicken wasn't, was it the best chicken I've ever had? No. But like, was it the worst chicken I've ever had? No. Well, and the little bread roll thing was actually really solid. So,
well, you know what the best part is to go along with that. We were watching an episode of 600 Pound Life, which is one of our favorites, obviously, on the show, and this person said, you have to feed me. Like, I can't sit here and not eat. And of course, Dr. Now, throws a jab in there and says, you've been eating for the last 10 years, enough for 20 people.
Right.
So you stockpile like a bear going to hibernate because that person probably looked like a bear. But anyways, the biggest thing about that is people just sit there and they're like, oh, like it's like they just like slap the fork on top of like the whatever they're served. And it's like, again, you can't sit there and act like you're going to an Applebee's or
Right,
something like
right,
that
right, right.
that actually like, order food in and try to cook it, or going to a get chicken wings, something like that. You're literally going to get something that's low quality but is enough to make you survive. you
Yeah.
know Again, we're not a Survivor here. I mean, we're literally just giving you cheap stuff because, again, it's a hospital.
Right, right. They're a
People
little
are
busy with
dying. People are dying.
that. Yeah, but I will say it is a little embarrassing when you're in these scenarios that I'll be again in this week where like you're the husband and like the in that scenario because you really have like no responsibility during
Yeah.
the entire birth process, and so like you're kind of like you're there because obviously you should be there, but like you're not important is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I always kind of feel weird because the whole thing is like at a certain point the woman can't really eat anything anymore because they're not allowed to because it could screw up the process. So but I can, and like I will say they do a nice job at least at this hospital of like being like definitely like order like eat and like order something like telling me to do it because otherwise I'd be sitting there like kind of feeling awkward like all right I know you can't eat but let me order
Yeah.
my my meal here, and then it shows up and all that sort of stuff, and like it's a little I will say it's definitely a little awkward to be like the only one in the room that's just like chowing down on a red velvet cupcake. All the nurses are like taking vitals and they're like trying to make sure everybody's okay.
Hey,
But
trust me, I've been that guy a few different times
yeah.
where there's a fast food restaurant or something like that, literally on my way, and I'm like, man, I got 5 minutes to spare. I'm hungry as hell, and I go and get something really quickly, and I eat that thing within 45 seconds. I'm like, I'm no, 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 no. I'm
Yeah.
like, and literally, I did that. So here's a funny story. So for baseball, I ended up I ended up going, and it was a morning thing, and of course there is this thing where they do something with the little league where the players go there for from the high school, and they're in the jerseys and all that stuff.
Right, right.
And I mean, there's a million people there because it's in Ashburn. I'm not going to go to that thing. I didn't
Right.
go to it last year either, and honestly, I wouldn't go to it next year if I'm still there.
Yeah,
So
you show them.
that's the biggest thing. I'm not going to that thing because, again, if our guys go there or whatever, and they have an assistant coach or whoever go, whatever, I don't care. I'm not,
Right.
I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. It's like I've been to stuff like that before for other family members, and it's just boring. I mean, it's just how it is. Okay, now I get it. It's for the kids. Okay,
Right.
but anyways, getting back to the point, that whole day, so I slept in, and then I ended up waking up, and I was like, man, I think that baseball thing is gonna last a little while. So I went to McDonald's. Meanwhile, this McDonald's in Ashburn sucks. Okay, this McDonald's I've been to probably 5 times in the last 2 years. It makes you wait at least 80% of the time, which is 4 times out of 5, which I have had to wait. So if I'm doing fast food, no one should be being told, "Hey, why don't you go park in the parking lot? Because we're going to bring the food out to you in a
Oh,
second."
I hate that.
This is not
Yeah.
Outback to go. Like, this is
No.
not like some weird thing where I park in a parking spot and all of a sudden I'm sitting there waiting for my to go order of a ton of great food, steaks, and all that stuff.
Right, right, right.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a egg biscuit. Like,
Right.
what are we doing here? Like, it baffles me. And
I hate it.
That,
I
that
hate
McDonald's blows, dude. So of course, I had to wait for like 10 minutes in the parking lot, which is ridiculous, by the way. And all I had was like a coffee and like a McGriddle or something like
Right,
that.
right.
Something,
That should not take that long.
something
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
So I get over to the school ready for practice, and I see all the kids like pulling in and showing up, and I'm like, oh God. So I sat there and I ate that McGriddle probably like Matt Stoney, and I was like, it was like the fastest I've ever eaten a McDonald's meal in my life. And
Nice.
I'm sitting there like I never drank in 12 days or something like that because I had the coffee and I was like chugging it down. It was horrific.
Your tummy must have been rumbling after drinking a coffee that quickly.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't a
Yeah.
great day, put it that way.
Jesus. Yeah. No, I hate the pull over there, we'll bring it out to you type. They did that to me once in this like really tiny McDonald's parking lot where like there was barely any room to maneuver anyways.
Right.
They made me pull over to this like area where like once they did finally bring me my food, it was impossible to get out of it because I had to back out. There was cars. It was like in the middle of rush hour. Cars are coming through. I was just like, this is. I would rather they just said, forget it. We're not going to give you your food and just let me go. That would have made me happier in that scenario. But yeah, no, I absolutely hate that. Moving on. So I did want to. You had a video you wanted me to watch on the show.
Yep.
And so I did. I have not looked at it, but I did want to. So I looked at the guy's name. So I didn't know which video it was that because he was on the phone originally, but I don't know which TikTok it was. Do you know? Do you remember the name of it?
Oh man, it was you're gonna have to scroll down because that
Okay,
it was
from a while. Okay.
Hey, go back up.
Okay.
Where was it at? I can find it real quick. I
Yeah.
tried to send it to your phone, but that's probably not the best idea. It might be. Did I? I didn't. I never sent it to your.
I don't know if you sent it to the talk.
All right, I can get it in 2 seconds.
Okay. Okay.
But so the premise of this is basically it was a guy that was on the radio, and his apparently the host went to the bathroom and didn't come back in time.
Here,
So
send it via talk. Let's see. Yeah,
Here we go. I
send
got
it
it
in there.
I'm sending it to you right now.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay. Let me pull it up here.
It makes me laugh, man.
Hello, free radio. I don't. Hello there, free radio. That was just Giant. No, it wasn't. Was it Giant? Yeah, it was Giant.
This reminds me of like
JD's
WGMU at Mason.
It's producer Paul here. Thank you for listening. Hope you're all okay. I don't know if I can get
Free radio.
free Roshi on.
It gets worse.
Free radio. Travel.
Get us on your smart speaker. Ask it to play free radio.
Okay, so if you're on the motorways, just be careful out there. It's wet. So we're just.
It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday. What? It's Friday then.
Oh, by the way, podcast listeners, you probably aren't able to hear what we're listening to right now. So go and watch the YouTube version of the
Ready
show.
for Friday, everyone. Everyone.
Biggest hits.
The biggest throwbacks. Hits at breakfast with JD.
Free radio.
Free radio.
Okay, you're listening to JD and Roshi with me, producer Paul. JD's not back at the minute. I don't know where he's got. Don't know where. Don't where. So I'm trying to get Roshi on. How do I? Hello? Are you there?
What are you doing?
Ah, Roshi. JD,
Basically,
Roshi, no,
for those who
producer Paul.
can't hear,
JD's not.
it's a producer for
he's not back at the minute.
a radio station who there's two hosts, and one of the hosts went to the bathroom and is not back yet. So the producer had to go run from the producer booth into the main booth and take over in a panic. Which I mean, again, like this makes me think of stupid WGMU, George Mason Radio, because like. Again, like none of it really mattered because no one was really listening, but it was still like you're on air, so you still have like a little bit of that panic if something goes wrong. Where
Right,
you're like,
right.
oh my god, I gotta press this button or do this button, and that's funny.
The best part is that lady is not even the host.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, is it on?
Right, listen. Okay, is he not come back from the loo?
I don't know where he
Okay,
is.
listen.
Should
Okay,
I put the
so
next song on?
There should be a
Oh,
button.
hang on.
Stop pressing things. There's a button in front of you that should say Nav A or Nav B. If you press Nav A, it should play the next song. Please get it on.
Right.
Oh no,
Hang on
it's
a
not
minute.
a
Hang on.
doorbell.
Hang on. Wait.
It should
hang
say
on.
Nav A.
Oh no, it's that Friday thing. Hold on.
It's that Friday thing again.
Free radio.
What is it?
Right, there's a button in front of you. 2 white buttons.
Ah, here we go.
Oh,
we're in.
there you are.
Okay, yeah, free radio.
Watch this.
It's JD and Roisin and producer Paul Craig David is coming right at you now with one of his great songs from a while back. Yeah,
Paul, just shut up.
it's that classic track from Craigie David Boy. Here he is. It's 7 days on free. I think that was on the night.
He's still on. That's pretty much it. The guy comes in and he's like, "What the hell just happened?"
I'm telling you, dude, there is nothing. There's nothing like, and actually makes me think sometimes of game day too. Early days of game day when I was like just learning how all the equipment worked and stuff like that, and like the funniest thing was how my very first broadcast for Stupid Game Day was. Andy had me do a game by myself. So it was literally like I had to set up everything by myself for the very first time. Back then, if you remember, we're using tapes.
Yeah.
Remember the actual
yeah.
tapes? And so like I had to like make sure I had the tapes right, and like it was a nightmare. I think the game ended up, and then I had to call a game with like football game, which I had never done before. I'd only called basketball before, and so it was also kind of like, all right, I'm doing this thing for the first time. I'm monitoring these computers. We had a stupid radio computer, and then our video computer, and then like a tape deck, and then like I remember my dad was there, and he had to help me out like with a couple things, because I was like, Dad, like I don't know what I'm doing. I was like a freshman in college, and I had just moved into college. It was like my first move-in day, and like I'm playing frisbee in the quad, and like I get a call from Andy, and Andy was like, "All right, you're doing a game tonight," and I was like, "Oh, am I?" Like, okay, I guess there goes my first night of college. I guess I'm going to go do a game for the first time.
That always made me laugh back in the day. For that was, now first of all, obviously he wanted me to do camera so much, and that, granted, I was pretty damn good at that, but that's not what I was there for. That's not what I wanted to do.
Right.
But at the same time, it was always funny how, and I love Helene. Don't get me wrong, but whenever there was like 10 bags out there, I always got a bag. Now this is obviously the first year, and this is also the springtime. The springtime obviously was my like first time, because my first ever broadcast was like Westfield versus like Flint Hill girls basketball. In the Bulldog Bash or something like that. It was awful. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like my bag was always missing tapes, or I had like one tape, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna fit. I don't think it's gonna do the whole game.
The tapes.
It was always funny to me, because whenever I did a game, it was always I always felt like if I didn't have something, then something was going to be going completely wrong. Like if I didn't have an extra tape, I knew I was like, well, that's going to be my fault, like, or something's going to happen. So it was like looking back, and then granted, we can say this now because this is, geez, dude, what was that? 13 years ago?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that was a long time ago. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different, but back then, like you said, with the tapes and all that stuff, I mean, I was always freaked out, especially the first year, like for baseball and stuff like that. That if we couldn't get something set up, then I'd be like, shit bricks basically.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd show up to the field like 3.5 hours early just to make sure nothing went wrong. You set up in 10 minutes, and then you're like sitting there for 3 hours, like okay. And like I remember how many times I would get to the field before like anyone in the organization would get there, like any coach, athletic trainer, administrator, anybody wouldn't be there yet. But the funny thing with the tapes was, and obviously if you're listening and you've never done this, like you're like, I can't relate to this at all, but with the funny thing with the tapes was, the whole point was this was like before everything was digitized, and so you'd have to have an actual tape recording of the video for the game, of the broadcast, and then they would take that, and then they would put that up on the internet. But like the whole thing was, you had to make sure you changed the tape at half. That was like the whole thing, was like you'd have a first half tape and a second half tape. So there was nothing more terrifying than like being like 5 minutes into the third quarter and realizing you hadn't changed the tape over to the second half tape, and you're like on the air, and you're like, I'm gonna get yelled at so mad later or whatever. Oh man.
The worst part about that, and obviously we're gonna get into something else, but the worst part about that was when, and this is a whole different topic about it, but is when you got to a certain field. Now, if it wasn't in Loudoun County or even in Fairfax County, if it was in a different field that had a different setup or an older field, like when I went down to broadcast Highland Springs against, I think it was Norview or something like that. First of all, Highland Springs, little ways down there, but at the same time, they had a spiral staircase, which I will never forget, that had an opening for maybe like a textbook. and I'm carrying this 97-pound bag. And first of all, I couldn't find the AD because it was locked. And the best part was it was locked, but people were in there and they wouldn't open it for me. But then I ended up
Why
trying to.
wouldn't they open it?
I don't know, dude. It was a weird time, and I ended up having to try. I said, you know what, I'm going to do this. So I wish we were on Restream right now so we could actually like I'll show the picture and stuff like that. It's on my phone somewhere. But literally, I lifted the 97-pound like gigantic suitcase over my head, sweating bullets, and I literally had to try to like maneuver around the spiral staircase. I got about maybe 37% of the way up, and I was like, can't do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I couldn't lift it. It was because it just wouldn't fit.
Right.
It was like I felt like Ross in Friends, like yelling pivot to myself. And so I ended up saying, screw it. I ended up putting the bag downstairs and making like 6-7 trips
each
up and
individual
down.
thing. Oh yeah. I've had to do that. Yeah.
And the best thing about it was I remember calling Andy and saying, hey dude, like this is what I'm working with here, man. And not to mention that they have 3 tables here, one for, the PA announcer, one for me, and one for somebody else, like some other, local radio station. And like I had like 6 guys that were writing for the local paper taking my table up.
Right.
They wouldn't move. So I had to like broadcast. It was the worst setup I've ever had in my life. But the best part was that I called Andy and I said, hey man, like I had to put the bag downstairs. This is what I'm working with. Here's the picture of what he's like, you left the bag downstairs. Like, and he was so mad at me that I left the bag downstairs. I said, dude, I'm more worried about myself and not dying here. Now, granted, that's probably not the wrong thing to say, but when you have metal detectors to get inside the stadium, I'm a little worried.
Oh, yeah. No, some of those schools were a little sketchier than others. That is for sure. So we wanted to talk a little bit about this Tom Brady roast. So I want to I know you have your rankings, and so I want to see like how I found this article from some website, who knows, but they also did their rankings, and so I wanted to see how much it might compare yours and theirs, and then I'll obviously add my thoughts too. But
all right,
so let's start with the worst. We're going from worst to best here. So give me number. So they did not, I guess, on this list they did not include Kevin Hart. Because I didn't either. Okay, cool. So you should have 18, I guess, or somewhere around there.
Something like that.
Because they also threw in like guys that were on the mic for like 60 seconds and stuff. So, but whatever. All right. So who's in last place for you?
Obviously, it has to be Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian was horrendous. She was only on there. First of all, they had to have the whole entire booze and all that kind of stuff. Like that was ridiculous. All that stuff, edited out. But she was on the mic for maybe like, I don't know, 2 minutes, and it was just her like saying, Tom Brady, you're great, and Gronk, you're stupid, like stuff like right. Like why is she even there? That's dumb. So she was my lowest one. I have a 3.7 out of 10.
Got it. 3.7. No, you're right. She was bad. I don't know even why she was on the mic there. They have her a little bit higher. So let's but I don't want to reveal their full list yet. So give me the next couple.
The next one is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was
awful,
weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
weird,
he was trying to like do this bit about like, oh yeah, there's trolls on the internet. Like, okay, dude, like relax. Okay, you're married to J-Lo. You're probably gonna get divorced now, supposedly. So just relax.
Bad.
So I had him pretty low as well. So that was my next one. I might have been missing one. I know I don't have. I do have actually him on here. Okay, never mind. So if I miss one, then it's because they weren't on the mic that long. My next one down is Sam J. I thought her thing was just weird, man.
Right.
Like she's sitting there talking about like sex the entire time and like boning him, and I'm like, all right, I'm not doing it. It was just very odd.
Yeah, I'd probably put that one in somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Not good, not bad. Just like it was kind of like meh to me.
Yeah. The other ones that are pretty close to each other for the most part. I had Belichick in there. I had him at 6.8. He was okay. Ron Burgundy 7.3. Jeff Ross 7.2. I had all these guys in there around the same number. And then obviously the next one up from them would be Drew Bledsoe at 7.8.
Bledsoe was pretty solid, I will say. Like again, we know that like yeah, he probably had help writing it, and like a lot of these guys do. Obviously, unless you're a professional comedian, you're not going to just come up with a roast material all by yourself. Like you're going to
Right.
get help, and even the comedians get help when they write this stuff. Like, hearing interviews with like Nikki Glazer, after it, who she did really well, but like she didn't write that whole set herself. Like she actually like. My understanding is with these when you get assigned to roast or whatever like that is. You get together with like your best comedian friends that you feel like would be helpful, and you guys just sit in a room or whatever, and you just kind of bounce ideas out off each other and like come up with the best lines and like the best roast basically. And so but with Bledsoe, yeah, I mean. He's obviously got a pretty funny connection with him and Brady and how that all unfolded, and I thought he seemed pretty good. I mean, I agree. Like I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah. I think that the next one on my list after 7.8, Kraft was pretty solid.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, he was pretty funny for being an old timer.
yeah,
And obviously he didn't have that many jokes and all that kind of stuff. But
right.
he was at 7.9 for me. Then you move up and we're into the eights at this point. And for me in the eights, I thought Bert and Tom were hilarious.
Yeah,
Some people didn't like it, but I thought they were hilarious. I had them at 8.7. Edelman, I had an 8.3. He was pretty funny. Andrew Schultz was pretty good, 8.7 for me. Manning, I thought was pretty solid. He was the less raunchiest, but he had some good zings in there and stuff like that, which were
right.
good. 8.8 for that. And then Gronk at 8.9. And then my top two, I would put down as Brady himself.
Yeah,
I thought he was awesome. I had Nikki Glazer as my highest at 9.4, and I had Hinchcliffe at 9.2.
yeah. That's so okay. So yours lines up right here with this list with Nikki and Tony as the top two here. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think so. With Nikki, she's done some of the, if you've anyone that's watched any of these roasts in the past, like the Comedy Central roast and things like that, like Nikki Glazer has been on it before. And she's done well on those in the past too, and so like she's always she's kind of a vet of the roast experience. But this was really cool because this was kind of like her exposure to like the broader world, like because a lot of people watch this roast that probably have never seen a roast before,
Right,
but they
right.
watch it because of Tom Brady, and so like she's definitely having her moment in that. And then Tony Hinchcliffe's another guy who's like, unless you're into comedy or watch like comedy videos, you may not never even heard of Tony Hinchcliffe, but he's been doing kind of the roast type stuff for a long time now too, and so like it was really kind of cool to have him also kind of get his moment on this too because he's so freaking funny. She's really funny. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought his my favorite one of my favorite ones from his was the one with Bert when he roasts Bert. Let me find that clip. Hold on. Tony roasts Bert because that one killed me.
Yeah, I mean, well, he was just nice because he did it. He went all over the place.
He looked like the Tiger King and the Liver King only ate Burger King and had a liver that looked like Martin Luther King got beat up by Rodney King.
Bert was losing
Bert
it.
Kreischer is the king. He looks like at the time.
He
But yeah,
was pretty funny.
and so yeah, and I've heard because there's been some good interviews post roast of people talking about their experience. So I watched. So Tom and Bert did their normal podcast, and they talked about the roast, and their thoughts were, as you said, like. Well, they were actually kind of told to do something a little different than the standard like stand up on the dais and roast.
Right.
So that's why their thing because this thing was like 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever it was. So like having it just be this pattern of so and so goes up and roast, and now you go up and roast, and they didn't want to do that the whole time, and so that's why they broke it up and had them do something a little different. It didn't hit for everybody. Some people liked it, some people didn't. At the end of the day, who gives a shit? Like it was fine. I thought it was funny. But they said, in their opinion, the people that did poorly at the roast are the ones that went off script. Like, the ones that kind of tried to riff and like that aren't comedians. So like, for example, like Ben Affleck and like those types of guys where like he clearly did not stick to the script. or like Kim maybe kind of riffed a little bit at one point. So like I think that was where people who aren't professional comedians would get in trouble, is like when they would kind of go off the script too much and try to riff and do this and that, when it's like, no, just hit him with your best jokes and like get out. Like that's what you're trying to do with these roasts. But I mean, yeah, this was great. I mean, this was a moment. I mean, I think that's why it was so, people are going crazy about it. Now, I didn't love Tom Brady coming out after saying that like he wouldn't. Well, let me get his comments here, because
Well,
he like,
the problem was, dude, is that, oh, Giselle had problems with it. Oh, this, like, everyone had issues.
it's a
Like,
roast.
it's a roast. It's what it's supposed to be. And the problem is that everyone knows it's jokes, and everyone's throwing like jabs at each other, and no one really threw jabs at her except for maybe like every now and then saying like, "Oh, the jujitsu guy." It's like they weren't really saying certain things that were like horrendous. The problem was that they everyone took it so harsh that they had to come out right after and start getting their 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah, Tom Brady maybe didn't consider the backlash from his family and how it would affect them when he signed up to get roasted. Oh my gosh. And yeah, so Nikki Glazer said, I also think Tom Brady does not do anything without doing his research and knowing exactly what he's getting into. It's impossible to me that he didn't consider what could have happened, because there's roast footage out there that you can go watch and go, they're going to go this hard, Glazer added. But then there's part of me that thinks that Tom Brady, especially given his career and how much people love him, no one's ever said a bad thing to him in the past 30 years, so he doesn't know what anything's capable there.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, I think she's right. One, the guy, Tom Brady, you know how manicured his image is, and like how like he's one of those guys that like he always is going to look good in everything that he's doing. So like that he wouldn't have signed up to do this if he thought. Now it seems like the basic quote unquote rules were, don't go after the kids. Like that was
Right.
like a rule. Like don't go after the kids. And then like the only other rule was like, don't talk about Robert Kraft getting jerked off at the massage parlor, because like as soon as Kevin Hart that made the joke?
Ross.
Oh yeah, as soon as Jeff Ross made the joke, like Tom Brady went over and told him to cut it out. I guess because I think they were told not to make any jokes about that, and he
Right.
did, which is good for Jeff Ross, but like kind of weird for Brady. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm sure there would have been some great jokes about
Oh
that.
yeah.
But yeah, I think honestly, like you said, I think Giselle was pissed and like probably bitched at him about it, and then now he has to walk it back and be like, "Whoa, I didn't know they were gonna, go at her so hard." It's like, yeah, you did, buddy.
Yeah, you
You
did.
did know that. That's why you're doing the roast. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's kind of silly to like, because honestly, look, that roast stuff, it made him look really damn good. The fact that he was a good sport with it, and like he actually had a good set too, like you said, and like. So yeah, I think he comes out looking pretty damn good out of all this.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when you're looking at his set in general, he was just going after guys left and right, whatever.
Yeah.
And some of them are kind of weird or whatever, but at the same time, it was still pretty funny. And would I watch it again? No.
No,
No,
it's a one watch thing.
Yeah, it's a one watch
it's like
thing.
4 hours.
Yeah. Let's be honest here. It took me like 3 days to watch it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about it is that when it comes down to having a roast, everyone seems to go into a roast watching it, enjoying what they're watching, in the sense of this person is usually taking it with a grain of salt, and they're not getting all pissed off about
Yeah.
this or that or whatever. I mean, roast in the past, obviously you had Donald Trump, you had Charlie Sheen, you've had Alec Baldwin,
Stamos,
yeah,
Bieber.
yeah, you've had all these. Yeah, Bieber. That's so weird.
Yeah.
Why would you do Bieber? He was like 19.
Yeah, I was about to say he wasn't even that old yet. Like, yeah, that's why it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's odd. But that's the thing is, like, you've had all those roasts, and honestly, when you're looking at them as like an umbrella statement, they're all just lighthearted. They're all fun. Everyone is having a good time or whatever. This one, I think it was just a little too long. Like, do we really need every single Patriot ever to live on the back of the stage?
No.
Like, I mean, that was just kind of weird.
Yeah, and I think it's like, do we really need Edelman on that? Like, is that something we really
Right.
needed? Like, or I mean, having Gronk there, you kind of need to have Gronk there, but like, plus he's a great target for jokes.
Right.
Like, there were some great Gronk jokes. I also think some fantastic Aaron Hernandez jokes, which was
Yeah,
great,
yeah.
great to hear because like that some of those Patriots
Don't
guys
murder.
are like, yeah, some of those Patriot guys are like, oh god, because they probably still it's a little iffy subject around
Right.
the locker room, but like, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, as you said, like this, we know what these roasts are. This was the first time that it was like a live thing. All the Comedy Central ones have been like pre-recorded and edited down, and like into like an hour or whatever it is.
Right.
So yeah, I think if they're so now the big discussion is, and this is what I want to talk about before we move on is now because this went so well, what they're going to do is they're going to milk this for as much as they can, and they're going to try to figure out who the next athlete is that they're going to do this to. And now some people have already said that like LeBron would be a terrible candidate because LeBron has no personality.
Let's name the
Yeah.
our top 3 that we can think of off the top of our head.
So I think Draymond would be hilarious because he's crazy and he says the craziest stuff. And like he's got such a crazy backstory of like kicking the guys in the nuts and getting suspended and getting in fights and beating up Jordan Poole in practice or like all that sort of stuff. I think Draymond would be fantastic.
Right. I think honestly, if you're going to go the basketball route, I think we can throw in Kevin Durant in there because I mean, again, all the fake accounts and the burner phones.
But I think here's the key though is it has to be a willing participant, and I think KD would never want to do that because he's so sensitive.
True.
And then like I also don't think LeBron would do it because I just don't think LeBron. One, I don't think he's interesting enough to do it. Like he's just a basketball machine. Like he has no like other personality to him.
Right.
You need a guy who's like a little. Now Tom Brady, it's obviously like that's different because he is the goat and like he did it. So like but still, I don't know. I think. Possibly. What if like would John Daly do something like that? I mean, like, would that be?
I would
fun?
love John, but John Daly he doesn't really have a bunch of stuff you can roast him about because again he's open.
He doesn't
about
care. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit.
The biggest thing I think that you'd have now we need to throw out will they ever do it?
Sure,
because it's never gonna. I mean, who the hell knows?
Well, right.
I think Tiger would be hilarious.
I think Tiger would
because Tiger would sit up there and he'd do his like Tiger smile like right. I'm kind of like some weird look, but then they would talk about Elon. They talk about
he's got
car accident.
Great skeletons in his closet.
They would talk about so much stuff and talk about all the sex in the world. Like they would talk about everything, and it would be freaking.
And
hysterical.
Tiger again, like for any. If you don't follow the sport too closely, you may not know. I know you know, but I'm saying like, is Tiger's actually sneaky, pretty damn funny too. Like he's very dry, and he'll like, and there's so many stories of him like shit talking on the course and stuff, and like I agree. I think like besides Brady, I think if you're talking about another GOAT, I think it's got to be Tiger because like that would be the best, and then like. I was trying to think, like, there's nobody in baseball that I'd even care about to do it. Like, nobody has, Babe Ruth,
John Rocker would be funny.
Yeah, you'd have to get like a crazy. That's the thing. You'd have to get a crazy guy.
John Rocker said he was going to murder somebody.
Yeah,
like
you'd have to get one of those like closers or like one of those guys that are just weird and kind of crazy to do it. Because like, I'm not going to get like Trey Turner, like Bryce Harper, like none of those guys.
Has Tyson ever has he ever gotten roasted before? I feel like he has, because Tyson would be like hilarious
the type of guy
too.
who would get roasted, and he just says things where you're just like, what are you talking?
Right,
saying like he got a boner from watching Jake Paul dance as a teenager or something. Did you see that quote?
I don't know.
Yeah, I won't even bother to look it up. Don't need that on this computer. But yeah,
I'm gonna throw this on the talk. So I want to hear what everyone else has to say because again. Yeah. Put it in the comments below because I would love to see who you think would be a great athlete to roast. Now, obviously, we have the actors and actresses and that you can say all day. I mean, there's tons of people out there that have
Ben Affleck would be pretty easy to roast.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the guys. But athletes, that would be a fun topic to come up with because again, there's so few that because of course they're all politically correct all the time.
Right.
Like I mean, you could roast Rudy Gobert for touching all the microphones during
Right.
COVID, stuff
Right.
like that. But I mean, no one knows who the hell he is half the
And then
time.
with
So
with like Steph, it's like, all right, how many short jokes can you say? Like, and he's
Yeah.
not even short. He's taller than all of us. He's just quote unquote
Right.
short in NBA terms. So it's like, I don't know how much you go after him, but yeah, I think Draymond would be perfect. I think Tiger's a great pick. I'd say those are definitely our two best options right now. So I'd go with those. But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Before we wrap up here, it is time, of course, to do one of our favorite things. Let me make sure you should have the ability to share.
I
your
got it.
screen.
I'm
Yeah,
good to go.
okay.
I'm good to
All
go.
right, let me bring up the music here, because it is Daily Dozen time on the show here, as we will try our best to hopefully do well in this. I don't know. I feel like we've been up and down recently.
Yes, we've been very up and down, and not to mention that with the
Well, last time we did it was like Cinco de Mayo, and like it was like
it's all
we
Spanish
were
stuff.
screwed. Yeah.
All
Hey, there's
right, here we
golf
go.
category at this time too. That's
Oh,
good.
I like it. All right, here we go. The Daily Dozen on May 19th, 2024. Here we go.
All right.
So the NFL. 2 NFC franchises have not made the conference championship since the 90s. The Washington Commanders and this team that last went during the 95 season. So who would that be?
Well, let's think. Go. Okay, so like, I don't think it's anybody in the NFC North, right? I mean, because the Lions just went. The Bears have gone.
Okay, let's knock them off here.
Yeah.
Not the Cowboys.
Yeah, not
Okay.
the Cowboys, not
the Eagles.
not the Eagles,
Not the Giants.
not the Giants. Okay,
Okay,
so,
so
they're
boom.
on NFC East.
NFC East. NFC South. Okay, Falcons. That could be an option.
Yeah.
No. They went to the Super Bowl. Remember?
Oh, duh. Yeah.
Yeah. So
with Matt Ryan.
Falcons are out. Saints out. Panthers. They went to the Super Bowl though with Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Then the who's the other team in that division? It's a terrible division.
Texans, or is that
No, they're the AFC.
Wow.
Geez Louise, now I'm gonna go nuts trying to figure out who's in that division. Anyways, we'll go back to it. So the NFC North, okay, like you
Yeah.
said before, you got
Lions just went.
Lions, the
went to
Bears,
the Super Bowl, right?
yeah, in like 2000 something or whatever.
Yeah.
The Packers,
Packers.
okay, done, and then the Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah.
Vikings. Well, actually,
Well, could the Vikings, because of that Vikings loss wasn't in the conference championship, right? Wasn't that in
no,
the
because I think they won the division championship with the Stephon Diggs catch, and then the next one was the
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I
So
don't
they
think it was-
did make it then. Okay.
Did they make it?
Or is that what you're saying? That they won and then they play? Oh, you're saying they went to the semis and then lost.
I'm trying to think. All right, so Vikings is a choice.
So Vikings is a possibility.
And then we got the NFC West. So Niners out,
Yeah.
Seahawks out,
Out.
Cardinals out because I think they went to the Super Bowl with Kurt Warner.
Right.
And then who's the next one that's out over there? Why am I missing like all these like, one every time?
Because it's not football season. We're not in football mode right now. That's why. We're taking so long on this one question.
Yeah, I know. Jeez, dude, do we just go with one?
Yeah, why don't you just go with? But then again, did like those Vikings teams with like Favre didn't make any runs, did they?
They did. I don't
They
think
make
they.
it all the way to the conference championship, NFC championship.
Well, who's the other team in the West? You got the Niners, the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and who else?
Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals, and it's not the Raiders. That's I don't know, man. I'm not in football mode right now. I don't know.
We'll come back to it. Now this is gonna
Yeah.
take forever. I might need to edit some of that out.
yeah, that's fine.
All right. Stephon Marbury's final NBA game included him coming off the bench for this team during the 2009 Eastern Conference semifinals.
I mean, we know he played for the Knicks for a while, but like, I don't
Yeah.
think this was the Knicks.
Did he play for the Grizzlies at any time?
Dude, I don't know. Eastern Conference though.
Yeah, that's true.
Eastern Conference semifinals. So like, we're talking about
Who went to? Who was actually no? It's semifinals, so I can't.
So
really
this
say
is
it.
like 4 years after the Pistons won their title. or 5 years after the Pistons won the title. So this was like, so who would have been good in 09? So we were I was in high school. You were in high school too, probably.
Yeah, it was my senior year.
Yeah. So this was before LeBron's like Cavs teams and stuff going to finals. this is gonna take forever.
That's not
I think
great.
the only one I would maybe guess is like the Celtics or something, like something.
Let's
weird
go with
like
it.
that.
Screw it.
Yeah, let's just try it.
We're going with it. Nice.
Oh my god. Okay, that was a great. That was. I'm telling you, that was out of nowhere. Okay, shoot.
Awesome.
All right.
Formerly ranked number 1 in the world, this Australian golfer won the 2015 PGA Championship and has also finished runner-up in the other 3 major tournaments as well. So
Australian. Is this the guy Adam Scott or whatever his name is?
I don't think Adam Scott was. I think it's Jason Day.
Okay.
To be honest with
All
you.
right, I'll trust you on this. Yeah.
I think it's Jason Day because he's won the PGA Championship before.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, Adam Scott, I don't think he was ever ranked number 1.
All right.
What's the capital of South Korea?
I mean, that's probably Seoul, right?
Oh, we're gonna go with
it's
it.
like S.
Whoa!
SEO. What is happening? What did you do?
I didn't do anything.
I think. I mean, that's the only one I know.
We're gonna go with it. There it is.
Okay. All right.
All right, so let me mash it. Hopefully, it shows up on the screen.
Yeah.
That's the James Corden, right?
James Corden. Yeah. And who is that in the middle? What the hell?
Oh, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Is it?
Yep.
I guess so. Yeah. It's hard to tell on my end, but yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see the face. Okay. James Corden and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
This
Yeah,
computer
his
blows.
eyes look
You
like
might need to do this from now on.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah. No, that's. I think you're good. I think you're right. Because those eyes definitely look Ryan Reynolds. Okay, we're killing it right now, so we have to get that NFL one right.
I know. Okay, well, sorry, I forgot to read it. While the name has been altered multiple times, Coca-Cola introduced the soda in 1972, originally under the name Peppo, to compete with Dr. Pepper. That is
Mr.
Pibb.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
too.
has to be Mr. Pibb.
Yeah, Peppo, Pib. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
All right. We are 5 for 5.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
What network has been home to NCIS franchise since 2003?
So initially, I'm thinking CBS. I don't think NCIS.
I think it has to be.
I think it has to be.
I don't think it's Fox or anything.
I don't think it's Fox. I don't think it's NBC. Okay. All right. Doing this.
Seinfeld's Elaine Bennis.
Yeah.
I think let's say disliked this 1996 epic romantic war drama starring
Rafe.
Ralph.
Rafe. It's pronounced Rafe.
Okay, weird. Juliette Bennett. Wait, whatever. Wait. I don't even know this.
And Willem Dafoe that
Yeah.
won 9 Oscars, including Best Picture. 1996 epic romantic war drama that's referenced in Seinfeld.
I barely watched Seinfeld.
I've seen it, but I can't pick this like random freaking movie. 96 epic romantic war drama, and that won 9 Oscars, including Best Picture. So it's a Best Picture winner, and it's from 96, and it's a war drama with Ralph Fiennes and Willem Dafoe. Go to the music category, 'cause, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That might be a lost cause on that one.
After breaking out in the 2000s, this rock band continued to put out hits in the 2010s with songs like Centuries and Uma Thurman.
Centuries. That's Fall Out Boy.
Fall Out
right?
Boy.
Yeah.
Yep. Fall Out Boy. Don't put baby in the corner. All right.
Okay.
NFL.
Yeah, go back to NFL. Let's get this right.
So-
do we want to just go with Vikings here, or
So the other teams, okay, are the Bucks and the
we know the
Rams.
Bucks won a Super Bowl, so it's not them.
and the Rams. So the
But
Rams.
we know the
did.
Rams won. So yeah,
So-
let's go Vikings then. Oh, what? Who is it? Is it the Falcons? Did we screw up?
No, because the Falcons went to the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not the Falcons.
We'll have to go over it again, and I'll edit it.
I don't know anything with the movies one. This one's impossible. Type in War Horse. I think that might be a movie.
That sounds like a romantic novel.
Yeah.
All right, War
This
Horse.
is a complete. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
All
Yeah.
right,
Double
we
dip. Yeah.
We got to dip.
Definitely the NFL one.
It. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the hell
Alright,
that
so
was.
it's not.
Can't even pronounce their names. All right.
So who else were we thinking it was possibly?
So okay, we're gonna go. So we're gonna go through it again really quickly. Okay?
Yeah.
So 2 NFC franchises have not made the conference championship since the 90s. Okay. This team last went during the 95 season. So we had the Redskins basically.
Yeah.
And okay, so wait a second. The Cowboys could be the option. The Cowboys,
because they haven't done anything since those teams. So yeah, I think that's it. There
So
we
dumb.
go.
I don't.
Okay.
I want to go back and listen to what I said about the Cowboys.
I think we just skipped over. So find out what the hell is that movie one? I want to know. Hey, that NBA one was only 25%. Got that one right.
Yeah.
The English
Patient.
Okay.
Whatever
I've
the hell
never
that
seen it.
is.
I've heard of it. I've never.
I can't even pronounce these guys' names.
Yeah, I know. That's
for William Dafoe.
Well,
all right.
Hey, I mean, 8 out of 9 with the double dip. Pretty damn good. I will say. I think we'll definitely
taking it.
Well, yeah, I hate when we get some of those wrong because it's like, God, I feel like we're idiots. But then again, we're doing pretty well. How did we not get Cowboys? Yeah, why did we think that they had been to? I don't know. I went with it's not all on you because I went with you on that.
Well, because the problem is with that, you would think about it and you're like, well, the Cowboys, they dominated, but I guess I think they dominated in the from what was it, 92 to 95 or whatever. And I said that, so that was probably the problem. But I mean, they made the playoffs, something like that. So we were like, oh yeah. So I think my thought was oh yeah, they made it to the conference, whatever. They've been in the playoffs or whatever. But yeah, that was dumb. I don't even know why I even.
So that's even funnier that it's the Skins and the Cowboys because they're rivals and they both haven't done anything since the 90s.
Right,
so there you go. Well, that about does it on this Sunday evening, and we'll probably be back in a couple weeks. I'll say I don't think we're going to be in a long hiatus. I think it's just probably going to be another couple weeks because I'll be on paternity leave, so I'll be able to knock out an episode, and I'm sure I'll have some stories to share for sure.
All right.
So yeah, we'll probably have some. I'll definitely give you my hospital food review via text when that happens.
You got to get at least 2 or 3 meals.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I will. And then definitely the snacks. I'll be eating a lot of snacks. People are gonna be like, "Are you sure you're not the one that's pregnant?" When they see my stomach.
Oh, he's at the vending machine again.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, not looking forward to that. I'm telling you, sleeping on those stupid little couch they give you there, it's not good. My back is just killing me the whole time. I'm crying. It's just awful. It hurts.
Sir, it's your beautiful baby. My back is killing me, man.
Let me go back to my chiropractor. I know, and I can't go to the chiropractor for a couple weeks now because of all this stuff going on.
Oh,
so
dude, chiropractor story right here.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it out there.
It's quickly. So here's the problem: is that with baseball, I haven't really had that much time, but sometimes on Wednesdays I can speed over there after work and then go right to the field.
Sure.
Because again, when I'm with Dr. Kang, it's quick and easy, whatever.
Knocks it out. Yeah.
No big deal. So I totally spaced on this week because it's always every other week and it's on Wednesdays. So I totally spaced on it because the problem is they send me some dumb text at 7:45 the night before.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, because they're like, oh, well, make sure you notify us 24 hours in advance so you don't get charged. And I'm like, what the hell? Like you're notifying me,
in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, 12. So really dumb.
It's a scam.
So I'm like, all right, whatever, And then Wednesday comes and I'm like doing other things. I'm thinking of other things, all that kind of stuff. Totally space on going. And then all of a sudden it's 8 p.m. and I'm like, damn it. Because again, they're gonna charge you $50. That's over double what they charge me to go.
Yeah, don't love that. Yeah.
So that's the thing that I was pissed off about. So all of a sudden I said, you know what? Screw it. Had a little drinky poo on Thursday, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna text that number and I'm gonna see if they could reschedule my appointment and say, hey, I accidentally missed or whatever. So luckily for me, they said, yeah, sure. Do you want to come in tomorrow or whatever? And I was like, yeah, tomorrow's fine, because it was on Thursday.
Right.
I said, yeah, tomorrow's great, whatever. Same time. And they were like, yep, that's great. And I said, now this might be a dumb question, but does this erase the $50 charge that you're going to charge me? They said, yes, it does. And I was like, awesome. Thank you. See you tomorrow. I was like, thank you. See you tomorrow. All of a sudden, I'm driving. I'm like, all right, Dr. Kang, me and him going to talk about golf. And all of a sudden, I get to the place and I'm like, this parking lot's kind of empty. Like, usually there's a lot of cars here. And I'm like, there's like 7. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I guess it's going to be a quick and easy with Dr. Kang again. I don't have to wait for anybody. I go in there. I open the door. Usually the door's propped open. For the last like 3 visits, the door's been closed.
Okay.
Open the door open. I open the door. It's like literally like a haunted house. There's no one in there.
Oh my God.
It's pitch black.
But the door was unlocked.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just looking around. I'm like, what the hell?
Welcome, Michael.
So all of a sudden, this probably, I don't know, it's probably 19. This 19-year-old girl comes out and she's like, hey, can I help you with something? I said, supposed to have an appointment at 3:30. She was like, well, we close at 3. And I said, well, that's not what you told me. You told me my appointment was at 3:30 today. Oh, no. I said, do you mind checking on your computer? And she's like, yeah, let me reboot the system. So we had like this like awkward,
you had to
talk.
wait for her to reboot the
My
system.
God, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I'm sitting there and we're having this stupid awkward talk or whatever. And I told her what's going on. She's like, yeah, okay. She's like, so it looks like your next appointment is what was scheduled for like, I don't know, the 29th or something like that.
Who are you texting with?
I don't know. And that's the thing is I ended up like saying the 29th. I said, I just told you the situation. They told me to come in tomorrow, which is now today at 3:30. And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it says 29th on here. And she's like, well, do you want to reschedule for like tomorrow? I was like, no. I'm not doing this again. I'm not doing all this stuff. Yeah. So now, granted, they do a pretty decent operation there, but I've texted that number once before to like say, hey, can I reschedule? And they reschedule it. Okay, right. Perfect. No, but when you sit there, they probably were like, I'm going to get this guy. Yeah. And all of a sudden,
you missed the appointment.
You're
big trouble now, buddy.
But I'm a reg. So they sit there and they were like, we're not going to charge you. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So luckily the girl was like, yeah, we didn't charge you for the 50. And I was like, well, that's nice, but you should charge me for the gas that I took to get here.
Yeah.
It was so dumb because I was like, all right, going to get adjusted, for the weekend or whatever. And then all of a sudden.
So what are they doing closing up at 3:00?
It's a very weird operation on Fridays. Like, cause you think about it, they close. I think they close at like 5:30 or something like that on regular. But it's weird though, because like,
but then again, it's like if people are at work, how do they go? How do they go to these places? I mean, I go because like I work from home and I just pretend like I'm working and I just go off and get it done. But like, how does anyone like who has a job, a normal 9 to 5 where they have to leave their house, how do they go to any of these things?
It was very weird because I understand that because when I first tried to make the appointments back in the day, I said like, hey, can I do it on this day or that day or certain days. And because they wanted obviously me to come like 4 times a week. And I'm like, all right, lady, I'm 32 years old. I can walk. I'm not broken that broken, I should say.
Right.
It's like, I don't need to come here and, have an adjustment every 4 days. So I told them, I said I want it once every 2 weeks. Right. And they said, okay. And I asked for times and they wouldn't give me certain time. Well, anyways, it was stupid. But then when they're like, oh yeah, Friday, because I would love to do it on Friday because if I get off early enough, which I do for Fridays, I get off at like 3:15, something like that, which is early enough before the big rush comes in around 4:30 or whatever. Then I can honestly get in there and get out and then be done and be good for the weekend. But then they were like, oh yeah, we close at 3. I said, closing at 3?
Close at 3 is weird.
That makes no sense. Like you're open for who? Like who's coming in at 11:30 on a Friday? It makes no sense.
People or something. I don't know.
So yeah, that was my quick weird experience.
That's. I just want to know who was on the other end of the number.
I don't know. They didn't pay attention.
Who
obviously.
Are you texting with?
No idea.
It wasn't Dr. Kang.
No, it wasn't. Well, it wasn't Kang because Kang likes talking golf.
Kang would have given you some picks for this weekend. He was probably had Shoffley. Yeah. I bet he had Shoffley.
I didn't have the greatest picks. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, well, let's not throw out any picks anytime soon on this show. Well, then again, I may be hitting this. Let's see. Let me check the Minnesota score. I know it's irrelevant to anybody listening to this because the game is long over. But I did have the parlay there with. The T-Wolves are down by 11. Okay, going to cash that out. All right, everyone. We will see you in a couple weeks, or you will hear us in a couple weeks. Follow the show on all the platforms. We will see you. It's been another episode of The Lunch Line.
Good job.